Let's talk about James Comey and Letitia James and them both getting their charges dismissed. I have read through a substantial portion of the court's opinion. I wanted to do this before the Baldoni hearing, and I want to try to explain this to everyone of what the judges decided here. The judges decided nothing on the actual merits. This is all about Lindsay Halligan and her appointment as U.S. attorney. He or she, I think the judge might be a woman, is saying that the appointment of Lindsay was invalid, and I believe she was the only prosecutor that was a part of the grand jury stuff, which caused the two indictments, Comey and Letitia James. So because that's invalid, therefore it has to be dismissed. So we have not actually touched anything in the actual indictments. So there's no decision on that. But let's talk about why this judge is alleging that it's invalid and also what this means. One of the big things here is that when Lindsay was appointed to the Eastern District of Virginia as U.S. attorney, the James Comey stuff had like 5 days left on the statute of limitations. So she can't really refile these because of the statute of limitations stuff. She could appeal this. That is really the government's only option, and it sounds like they will from people online. But why is her appointment invalid? So the government's argument and Lindsay's argument was all around the plain text of 28 U.S.C. section 546. But the judge does go into other reasons, saying like this was unconstitutional. But I think the actual stuff that Lindsay and the government was saying that validated her was around 28 U.S.C. section 546. And that is where her and Comey's team, the defense, completely had different readings of the law, which is interesting because the judge actually quotes Scalia, who is more of like a textualist originalist. This is very interesting. So let me explain this to you. So in January, the previous U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia stepped down. And so per this statute, the one that I just stated, the attorney general, who is currently Pam Bondi, can appoint somebody for 120 days. So the attorney general, when the last person stepped down, appointed this new guy. I think his name is Eric. Let's call him Eric. I might be wrong. So that was January. So he had 120 days. And then at the end of the 20 days, according to the statute, it says, if the appointment expires under subsection C2, which is 120 days is C2, the district court for such district may appoint a United States attorney to serve until the vacancy is filled. And what is vacancy filled? That is part of what everyone's fighting about. So in that 120 days, what they really want to happen is the Senate to confirm that U.S. attorney, so then they're fully in that position. But if that doesn't happen, then effectively the district court for that district gets to decide. So Eric was actually liked by that district, so they were like, cool, keep him in place. We appoint him. So on day 121, he remained, okay? But he was still never confirmed by the Senate. And this is where everybody differs. So in September, he steps down. And so the government, Pam Bondi and Lindsay, are viewing that as a new vacancy, restarting that 120-day rule. Whereas James Comey and this judge are like, no. That vacancy is still vacant because we never had another Senate confirmed person in that role. So that's how they're viewing this differently. And the judge was like, no, it's still the same vacancy, which means the district court still has the appointment power here. Basically, that 120 days was a one-time thing on that one vacancy because the person that stepped down in January had been Senate confirmed, had been in that position. And so they're basically like, Pam Bondi, you don't get another bite at the apple. Have 120-day period for your appointment, and then that reverts to the district judge. So now that this guy is gone, and since he wasn't Senate confirmed, the district court for that district still gets to decide who takes that place. And since Lindsay was appointed by Pam Bondi, they're like, this was invalid. Truthfully, I can read this statute both ways. To me, it's all about like, what do you deem a vacancy? So there you have it, folks. Let me know if you have questions. I need to go focus on Justin Baldoni now.